Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the U.S. Immigration News. Today, we'll unpack 5 major developments making waves across the nation. From President Biden's move to extend protections for Liberians, to the record-breaking rise in deportations, and California's bold initiative to support undocumented immigrants. These stories are shaping the future for millions. We'll also bring you the details of the government's critical changes to employment authorization rules. Each of these updates carries profound implications for communities across America. The shifting tides of U.S. immigration policy, one of the most debated and consequential issues of our time. If you are interested in this topic, please stay tuned until end of the video. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Let's start as now. Number 1. Extension of deferred enforced departure for Liberians. In a significant move, President Biden has extended deferred enforced departure, commonly known as DED, for Liberian nationals through June 30th, 2026. This extension provides critical protections for Liberians who have resided in the U.S. since May 20, 2017, shielding them from deportation and granting eligibility for work permits. This decision draws from a long-standing U.S. tradition of humanitarian aid. Back in the 1990s, Liberians fleeing brutal civil wars were granted temporary protected status. Today, DED continues this legacy, offering a safety net for a community that has deeply enriched American society. Eligible individuals are encouraged to review guidance provided by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services for application details. Number 2. MS-13 gang member arrested in New Jersey. In a dramatic turn of events, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has apprehended Jonathan Stanley Garcia Vasquez, an MS-13 gang member wanted for murder and terrorism in El Salvador. Garcia Vasquez had been living illegally in New Jersey and evaded capture since his release at the Texas border in 2016. This arrest underscores ICE's firm stance that the U.S. will not serve as a haven for international fugitives. The case highlights the agency's commitment to strengthening national security and safeguarding public safety. Number 3. California's Immigrant Support Network Initiative. As deportation efforts increase, California is stepping up with an ambitious plan, the Immigrant Support Network. Under Governor Gavin Newsom's leadership, this initiative aims to establish regional hubs to connect undocumented immigrants with essential resources such as legal aid, education, and labor support. This effort echoes similar programs from the early 2000s, when California bolstered immigrant support during heightened federal enforcement. Advocates are now calling for additional funding to expand access and ensure legal representation for those in detention. A finalized plan is expected by mid-January 2025. Number 4. Extension of employment authorization for certain visa holders. In a move to address workforce challenges, the Department of Homeland Security has permanently increased the automatic extension period for employment authorization documents, or EADs, from 180 days to 540 days for certain renewal applicants. This policy shift is a game changer, reducing employment gaps and offering greater stability for thousands of individuals navigating the renewal process. It builds on temporary measures introduced during the COVID-19 pandemic, highlighting the government's commitment to maintaining workforce participation amidst systemic delays. Number 5. ICE deportation statistics reach decade high. Finally, deportation numbers have soared to a decade high. ICE reports over 271,000 unauthorized immigrants were removed in fiscal year 2024. This figure surpasses the peak deportation numbers recorded during the Trump administration, marking a dramatic increase in enforcement actions. These statistics reflect ICE's intensified focus on enforcing immigration laws while balancing national security and public safety. The sharp rise in deportations also reignites the debate over how to balance enforcement with humanitarian considerations in shaping U.S. immigration policy. Together, these developments paint a vivid picture of a dynamic and often contentious immigration landscape. From enforcement to support, the stakes are high for individuals, families, and communities across the nation. As we continue to navigate these complexities, staying informed has never been more important. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, and family immigrant visas. Thank you for visiting us today, and we'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe channel for more U.S. immigration update videos.
Visa program.
Yeah.
So
Lots to unpack.
the Department of Homeland Security, they announced some updates.
They did.
And they really want to make the process smoother, more flexible, and they want to keep a closer eye on everything too.
Yeah. Make sure it's all
Yeah, exactly.
above board.
We're going to break it all down for you. What does it mean for employers? What does it mean for foreign workers, like you guys? And then we're going to look at the bigger picture too. How's this going to affect the U.S. economy, global workforce?
Big stuff.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's fascinating how all this ties together.
It is.
You got the policy side of things, you got economics, and then, global competition for talent.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a really interesting intersection.
So let's just do a super quick refresher. H-1B visa.
Okay.
It's for those highly skilled professionals in specialty occupations. And
we're talking tech.
Yeah, tech, engineering, medicine. You need that specialized knowledge. And you got to have at least a bachelor's degree.
At least a bachelor's, yeah.
Or higher. And basically, it lets U.S. companies hire from around the world when they can't find qualified American workers.
Exactly, when they just can't find the right people here.
Right.
They need to look elsewhere.
Okay, so one of the biggest changes, they're modernizing how they define specialty occupation.
Right.
So it's not just about checking boxes anymore.
Yeah, they're really clarifying what that means, making sure the role really needs that special skill set. So you can't just have a degree and that's it.
Okay.
You got to show that your expertise actually matches what the job needs.
So let's say someone's watching right now.
Yeah.
And they're thinking about applying for an H-1B visa. What does this mean for them?
Well, it means you got to be ready to really showcase what you bring to the table. Those unique skills, that knowledge that you have. Your application has to really highlight how your expertise fits with that specific job.
Yeah, you got to prove your value.
Exactly. You got to stand out.
And this affects nonprofits and government research organizations too.
It does. They're exempt from that annual cap on H-1B visas.
Right.
So this new definition could change how they hire people.
It's not just private companies, it's the whole landscape.
It's everyone.
Okay, so another big change. They're streamlining the approval process.
Yeah, this is something people have been asking for. Make it faster. Make it more efficient.
Right. Employers, foreign workers.
Everyone wants a smoother process.
They want to make it easier for everybody.
Absolutely. The new rule is all about reducing those unnecessary hurdles.
Okay, but if you make it faster, doesn't that maybe open the door for fraud or misuse?
That's a fair point. You don't want to compromise integrity for speed.
Right.
That's where the enhanced oversight comes in.
Okay.
DHS is giving USCIS more power to conduct inspections And they can really come down on anyone breaking the rules. Employers are going to have to be super careful. They need to prove they have a real specialty occupation position. Make sure everything on the labor condition application matches up with the H-1B petition. And prove that the worker is here legally.
So more checks and balances.
Exactly. Got to keep things honest.
Okay, there's one change that really jumped out at me. The rule now says that H-1B beneficiaries who have a controlling interest in the company that's sponsoring them, they can now be eligible for the visa.
That's a big one.
That's huge.
It's a big shift.
That's a big shift.
Imagine you're an entrepreneur from another country. Yeah. You have this amazing idea. This could be the thing that lets you launch your startup in the U.S.
Wow.
Instead of taking your talent somewhere else.
So it's all about attracting those innovative companies.
It is. It's about fostering entrepreneurship.
And keeping that talent here.
Absolutely.
It's all connected, right? U.S. competing for talent on a global scale.
Yeah, these changes aren't happening in isolation. This is a global conversation about the future of work.
Right.
How talent moves around the world.
Do you think these changes will influence other countries?
I think they will. I think other nations are watching closely. The H-1B program has always been a kind of model. So these updates could have a ripple effect on how other countries design their own visa programs.
Like the domino effect.
Yeah, exactly.
So when do these changes actually happen?
They go live on January 17th, 2025.
Okay, so mark your calendar.
First, those calendars.
January 17th, 2025.
That's when the new rule and the new Form I-129 come out.
I-129?
That's the petition for non-immigrant workers.
Okay.
But you can actually get a sneak peek at the updated form on the USCIS website right now.
So we'll put a link to that in the show notes.
Yes,
for anybody who wants to check it out. So big picture, what kind of long-term impact are we looking at here?
Well, it's a balancing act, isn't it? We want to bring in global talent to boost innovation and economic growth.
Right.
But we also need to protect American workers. It's a tough balance.
It is.
These changes could really reshape the U.S. economy and its place in the global workforce. But we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
It's going to be fascinating.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
And we'll keep you updated right here on U.S. Immigration News.
Definitely will.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.